late. Sorry. Oh, lots going on today. You know, it is Monday. Um, and there's just a lot going on. So, I am so happy to be with you. I'm so happy to be here. And I'm looking forward to talking with you. So, we are out of the full moon stuff. We are in the waning of the moon, the last quarter. So, where the energy is coming down, what we've been talking about. I want to share a bit of what I put in my newsletter this week because I really feel like we talk a lot about listening to the universe and making sure we're paying attention to the messages that we're being given. And, you know, sometimes people are like, well, what does that look like? What does that mean? What is, you know? So I want to talk a little bit about that today. We're going to start today with the squirrels. So we're going to start today with the squirrels. I am going to grab the animal, hi sweetheart, the animal spirit animals guide, and we're going to talk about squirrels because there's something going on with the squirrels in my neighborhood. We had for a couple of days, like a couple of weeks, we literally saw 0 squirrels. And so I know that there's been people who've been putting like weed things and pesticides in their yard, and then the squirrels are burying their nuts in the yard, and then the sprinklers go off and the pesticides dissolve into the yard and they dissolve into the nuts that the squirrels are putting, and it is very, very, very disconcerting. So I have my tree, Nakama, who you've all heard me talk about, my beautiful tree, and I have a bird feeder from the tree. I haven't had no birds. Now, we've had a lot of rain. It is very hot. It's summer, so it's not terribly unusual for us not to have the birds. But usually I will put the bird feeder, the food in the feeder, and by a day, that food is empty because the squirrels, they jump. They figured out, we thought we'd put it far enough out off the branch that they couldn't jump. But they they figured out, they're like, jump, and the bird feeder's like doing like this. And so but we have no squirrels. So today on my run, we saw 4 squirrels at the end of the run. We saw 2 in one tree and 2 in a tree across the street. So I don't know if this is something that's going on in a lot of places, but they're part of the food chain. They are part of the ecosystem that keeps our neighborhoods clean and clear, and you know, they keep the trees from overgrowing, and when the nuts come off the trees, they, you know, help to clean up so that new trees are not trying to sprout everywhere. So I just wanted to jump into the card part about the squirrels because I feel like the squirrels are really, really important, and we do want to make sure that we are protecting them. They are part of our ecosystem wherever you may live. It says, but so here's really, really interesting. So I did not pre-read this, so I'm reading it right now, and I'm looking at what's going on. It seems really interesting. Get ready for coming changes by lightening your load, clearing out and giving away any goods or material possessions that no longer serve you. The best way to deal with the challenging situation that's before you is to confront it head on and to be totally honest with your feelings and thoughts. Be extra vigilant and cautious right now, and be willing to avoid or escape any threatening situations. Prepare for the future by gathering and storing extra food, water, clothing, candles, and money for possible later use. Although you're actively and aggressively pursuing your goals right now, you need to balance this pursuit with more socializing and play. I think that's really, really interesting because not just about the squirrels, but some of the things that's going on right now. So we're seeing a lot of people shifting. We're seeing a lot of people coming to this place of we're, you know, we're never going to be done with COVID, but we're out of the pandemic. People are back to normal. Things are back to normal. For the most part, I know there's still some supply chain issues. I know that there's still some issues with, you know, inflation obviously thankfully is starting to come down. I'm very grateful to see that happening. And so we know that there are still some residual effects that are, you know, happening from, you know, the pandemic. But we're seeing people are traveling, they're going to shows, concerts are happening, you know, life is back to pretty close to what it was. Although I think a lot of us are different, life is back to a lot close, you know, pretty close to where we were before 2020. Hi Lisa, welcome. And it's, what's interesting is that people then forget the lessons that we learned through the last 4 years, right? And so we're seeing so many people that are shifting positions, shifting places in their lives. They're trying to reinvent themselves. They're making big changes. Chris, I know you've been making big changes. We're, making big changes. And it's really interesting to see. And so the squirrels remind us that big change is possible, because these squirrels, they take a huge leap of faith. I mean, I'm going to tell you let me see if I can, can I raise this up? Okay. So let me see if I can show you. I can show you. So where is it? Okay. So the bird feeder is here on this branch here. And on Instagram, let me see if I can get it. Okay, so Instagram, can you see? So the bird feeder is here on this branch that comes out. I'm trying to do it for Facebook. It comes out here, and Instagram, it's this branch here that's coming out the top of my head. That branch. Okay, so the bird feeder is out like 5-6 feet. The bird feeder is out like 5-6 feet from the trunk of the tree, and these squirrels, they leap of faith, and they just go out there, right? And so they leap right on out there, and it's amazing to watch them. And so they're living with abandon, but they're also living with preparing for the future and making sure their home is stable and all the things that the book just told us. But what's interesting is to watch the squirrels. And so the reason we're talking about this is because there seems to be a massive die-off of squirrels in my area, which is very concerning because they are part of the ecosystem. But what is so interesting is the squirrels seem to hear things like the dogs. They hear things that we don't always hear. And so the thing I wanted to talk about today with the squirrels is taking those leaps of faith, because we're in this last quarter of the moon. So this is a great time to this is the time to get ourselves prepared for the intention setting of the new moon, which is going to happen in just a few more days. So where are we with the new moon? Hang on, calendar. So, sorry, we had some big thunder, and so all my stuff got closed. The new moon is going to be on Monday, so Labor Day, September 2nd. And so we have a week. This is the time for us to be figuring out, okay, what worked in this last month, what didn't work, where am I going, what are my intentions to set, so that I'm ready to take this leap of faith like the squirrels. So they just leap. They see the goal, they see the food in the bird feeder, and they're like, hi on, and they see the bird food, and they just go, shoop, okay? And so the fact that there's still, bird food in my bird feeder for 4 days now is astounding, because really I would put the food in the bird feeder and not be able to have it in there for a couple of hours. It would be gone. So something with the squirrels. So it's really important that we're taking these lessons from the squirrels, because the other part is, so they're preparing for the future. They see what they're going after. They make the decision. They take the leap of faith. At the same time, they are practical, and they're preparing and gathering the nuts and having those things stored for them for the coming winter. And so we're at the end of August, and we don't get a ton of winter here in Florida, but hi from South Africa. But it is still, we still get some, and the animals have that instinct that they know the trees are not going to produce as much. They need to store those nuts. And so this is this time, so that the lessons that we're getting from the squirrels right now is prepare, know where you're going, know where it is that what you're aiming at, take the leap of faith. And that is a big part of what's been going on. If you were with us last week, we were talking about the full moon, the blue full moon, right? And the Aquarius was so much about getting ready for that leap of faith and seeing things from the other perspective so that we're ready. And so we're able to, hi Bianca, hi Ellen, to be able to take that leap of faith, but we're also prepared, right? We've got our nuts stored, and we've got, everything ready for the winter and for the lean times. Because if you're taking a leap of faith, maybe there's, a transitional period, okay? But here's the other part of it. The squirrels, if you watch them, you can see their little ears twitching, and they hear so much that we don't hear. And so this is the other thing that I want to talk about today, is hearing the universe. So you hear me talk all the time about trust the universe, trust those niggles that you get, trust, but what does that really look like? And sometimes people say to me, well, how do I know it's the universe? And so here's the thing. We have this idea in our head that if we're going to hear a voice from the universe, it's going to be like, don't go that way. And that's not really how that goes at all. So when we hear the voice of the universe, it literally is more like, for me, it's like a knowing in my head, where I know that I heard something. I didn't hear it with my ears, but there's a knowing that I heard it in my head. It's as if I just heard the thought. Have you ever done that, where you can hear the thought, right? And so I hear this in my head, Go before it's too late. And so if you see my newsletter is coming, it came out today, and I'm going to send out the email later today. And if you're not on my email list, please make sure you DM me and send me your email address. We'll get you on my email list, or you can go to my website and you can sign up there as well. Chris, if you are there, I will ask you if you wouldn't mind plugging in the web address for my website. And if you're not still there, that's okay. So we hear this in our head, or maybe you see a vision, maybe it's a little stop sign or something, or like a little hand. There could be so many different ways that the universe is communicating with us. And our problem is that we look at it and go, I can just hear that. Who's talking to me? Nobody's talking to me, right? And we blow it off. And what the universe is being like, okay? And so, yes, we've done that, right? We've all done that. We see the sign, we see the image in our head, or sometimes you think you see something with your eyeballs, and you look, and then you look again, it's gone. I'm like, did I just see that? I just saw that, like, the light was red. Like, I just saw the light was red, but it's not. It's still yellow. And I'm like, I'm going to stop. And then, of course, the car just coming the other way, right? And so the thing you thought you saw is, you know, the universe is trying to get you to see. And sometimes it's these flashes of things that we might see with our actual eyeballs or in our mind's eye, but we think we see it with our eyeballs, or we think we hear it. So Chris says, I had a neurologist doing nerve testing who listened to my muscles. It was super weird at the time. Yeah, they listened. And what's super interesting, if you've ever done like actual muscle testing, which I know is different from what Chris is talking about, but there is a vibration. We have a vibration. We are electromagnetic people, and I love the folks that go out into the forest and they listen to the mushrooms. The mushrooms, on the side of the trees, have a sound. They have a vibration, a hertz that is different from what we can hear. Just like dogs, thank you. Just like dogs can hear in a way that we can't hear. The squirrels can hear the things that we can't hear. Our job, and if you've made it this far to come and find me, then you are aware that the universe is out there trying to help us. Our job is twofold. Our job is, one, to listen to what the universe is saying to us, or showing, or sharing, or trying to reveal to us, okay, and not blow it off, which is not always the easiest thing. Our other job is to remember, definitely not easy, that regardless of what happens, from the joy to the junk, the universe is always on our side. The universe is always on our side. The universe is always trying to help us, trying to make it better for us, trying to lead us in the right direction. When we get the joy, we're like, yeah, me. And we forget to say, thank you, universe. Thank you, all the angels and guides and ascended masters and loved ones in spirit who are helping. And thank you, universe. When we get the junk, we go, what are you doing? Right? And we're not ever, again, thankful for that part. We're like, what is this junk? And so for me, when I get into the junk, I really, really try not to be in the, what are you doing? And I try to get into the, what is this here to show me? What are you trying to show me? What are you trying to get me to see with whatever this junk is, right? What are you trying to get me to notice, to identify, to shift, to change directions? What is it? And so we have this habit as humans, when things are going well, that's us, we did great. And when things are not going well, we're like, the universe hates me, everything is against me, you know. And so it's got to be both ways. Either you believe that when everything is great, you are awesome, and when everything is not awesome, boy, I really stunk today, okay? But very, very few people want to take ownership of that. That's not in our human nature. We're very, very quick to blame somebody else. It was that guy's fault. That person did it. Not my fault. But when we have the junk, we're very quick to blame either others, or if you are someone who believes in the power of the universe, we blame the universe. Ugh, the universe hates me. So it is important that we are, last week we talked a lot about we're looking at things from different perspectives, so it's really important that we are owning both sides of that coin, right? When things are great, thank you to the universe. I mean, we probably didn't suck, you know, in order for it to, you know, go well, we had to be part of it, right? We have got to be willing participants in helping the universe help us to shine. It is co-creation with the universe. So I never want to say when things are awesome, we had nothing to do with it, because we have to work in harmony and co-creation. We get to work in harmony and co-creation with the universe. The flip side of that, turn that perspective around, is when we're in the junk to say, okay, I'm still working in co-creation in the universe. What am I missing? What is it I'm missing? So I want to tell you, so my sister and I love my sister very much. My sister and I were at odds, like literally mortal enemies, until I was about 35 years old. And then one day she just decided that she wasn't going to be an evil witch to me anymore. And so over a period of time, we started to work on repairing our relationship. So one day, my sister decides, they had no kids, they were going to come and visit us when we were living in Los Angeles, and she comes to visit, and here I'm going to be super mom, and I've got my kids are totally great, they're super behaved and very clean, and they're, and I decide I'm going to make my special cookies. I have this recipe, came from Robert's sister. It's a beautiful, wonderful, super great recipe. Everybody loves these cookies. They are butter cookies. They have a lot of butter. And they're delicious. And I make the recipe, and I'm trying to be all like poised and aren't I super mom to impress my sister, who doesn't understand why we have kids, and she does now. My nephew is 18 and wonderful. I forgot the butter. I totally forgot the butter. And so here's Dylan, my younger one, who is so sweet. And he comes in, I bake the cookies, and I'm like, oh, something wrong with the batter. It's not really holding together the right way. I don't know what's going on. We baked them anyway. I basically baked paper mache. And he's like, do I have to eat this? I was like, no, you don't have to eat it. And so about that later that night, we were all sitting around watching a movie, and my brother-in-law went to make some popcorn, and he comes in the microwave. He's like, why is there like a pound of melted butter in the microwave? Because I put it in the microwave, totally forgot all about it. But the one ingredient made a tremendous difference to the success of the recipe. And to be fair, I was all up in my ego trying to I'll show my sister I'm like the, mom of the year. She doesn't think I should have kids. I'm mom of the year, right? And we get our hands slapped when we try to be all up in our ego, right? And it was mortifying. The cold cookie experience has become this huge, it's a hilarious story that we laugh about all the time. And helped us to bond together. And so here's the thing. One ingredient, when we're not listening, when we're all up in our head, and we're all up in all that, one ingredient, one thing can cause it all to be paper mache. And that whole story brought my sister and I closer together, because we fell out on the floor laughing. We were watching the movie, and the popcorn came, and my brother-in-law came out, and he's like, why is there like a pound and a half of melted butter in the microwave? And we all looked at each other, and we literally all just fell out laughing. It was hilarious. And my kids thought it was hilarious. And this tension of everybody trying to be so perfect just was gone. And that's something that's really important, that when we are listening to the universe, we are a lot less likely to forget the butter. When we are listening to ourselves and our ego and, that left brain, like, I'm going to show them and I got this and it's all about me, we are way more likely to forget the butter. So now, full disclosure, the butter thing happened more than once. Not with my sister, but there was another time, which I don't quite remember, but I know there was a second time where I totally forgot to put the butter in the cookies. So suffice to say, I am much more conscientious about making the cookies with the butter first before we put in all the other stuff. But it was hilarious. But it's a very, it's a stark reminder that one thing can really shift our path. And one thing, when we're not listening, can really make a big difference. But these things that we think are, because it could have gone another way. Like, I totally effed up. I can't believe it. I am so embarrassed. I just completely, and now my sister's going to think I'm an idiot. And I can't beat myself up. That's a choice. That's an option. But what do we learn from that? Nothing good, right? Not much. We learn that I suck, which is not the truth. It is not the truth for any of us. The truth is, we are human. We made a mistake because we got into the ego mindset rather than in the connecting to others mindset. I was making the cookies because I wanted to show off. I wasn't making the cookies because they're a family favorite and my kids love them. And I wasn't making them out of love for my family. I was making them out of ego. And when we operate out of ego, we are operating from a place that is not in connected with spirit and higher power, and we are not listening. So we get put on a detour. We've taken a wrong turn. We've gone in the wrong direction. And now this is an opportunity for us to say either, well, shit, that sucked, and I sucked, or, well, shit, that sucked. What did I miss? What was the universe trying to show me? And it was so super clear to me in that instant moment to be able to say, well, I definitely screwed that up, but what is the universe was trying to show me? The universe was trying to show me, get out of your ego, get grounded, be about connection. Who are you making these cookies for, right? And it makes a big difference how we come from that perspective. Chris says, if you think you're too small to make a difference, spend the night with a mosquito in the room. True. Butter equals mosquitoes. And so butter equals whatever it is for you. So that's a great point. You know, one little thing make a big difference. But we can recover from these things. And this is the important part, that I was not listening. We are not listening. Very often we are not listening. The universe is trying to tell us. The universe is trying to say, hey, put the butter in. Hey, be present in this moment. Hey, why are you making the cookies? Are you making this to show off, or are you making this for relationship building, for your family, for the joy of it? Okay, what is it that's going on here? And so when the thing happens and you go, crap, I can't believe I forgot the butter, or whatever it is that happened, take that minute to say, what am I missing here? And I knew immediately, because I'd been kind of like, oh, God, what's she going to think? She's going to think bad. I know she's going to think things. And kind of, you know how we ruminate over these things in our mind while we're watching the movie. And when the thing happened with my brother-in-law, said, why is there all this butter in the microwave? We all just, like, all of it was wiped away. Now, here's the thing, so the universe gave us this opportunity to heal the moment. So my sister was like, I don't know what's going on. So the universe gave us the opportunity to heal the moment once we were all laughing about the butter in the microwave. So the next morning, because they were with us for the holidays. It was like Christmas time. So the next morning, the kids go down the stairs. It's not Christmas yet, but the kids go down the stairs, and my sister is awake. And now my boys, my sweet little boys, who were like, they were 6 and 3 when we moved, so they had to be 5 and 2. So my sweet little boys come down the stairs, and they convinced my sister to make waffles for them, like, you know, Eggo waffles, put them in the toaster to make waffles for them. And she's like, okay, what do you put on the waffles? And my kids are not stupid. So they're like, oh yeah, butter and syrup and fruit snacks. And so my husband and I come downstairs, and here's my kids at the breakfast table eating waffles. And I'm like, oh, look, you have fruit snacks on your waffles. And my sister immediately, they said that's what they get all the time. And I'm like, oh yeah, you got played. And so there was a whole full circle moment of like, you got to try being the super mom. And it was the universe creating this opportunity for us to really heal, bond, connect, and realize that I don't have to be super mom. And being a mom for her in general was more hard than you might think. So when we look for these full circle moments, it is amazing how we can look back and see how the universe has connected the dots for us with people we've met and friendships we've made along the way and experiences that we've had that have prepared us to be the person that we need to be now in order to go forward for the things that we want to achieve, do, have, be. Now, everything has prepared us. So when you feel like, I'm going in the wrong direction, are you? Are you? Or are you just going in the direction to have the experiences, to gain the skills and the awareness to bring you to this place so that you can be the person to receive the things that you are trying to achieve? I just don't feel like there's a wrong turn or a wrong way, you know, and when we make mistakes, are we operating from love? Or are we operating from ego? Or, you know, did we just take a turn that was different so that we could have what we needed to experience to be able to come to the place we're trying to go? My husband and I we would drive each other crazy. When we first moved to California, he was gone on a tour immediately. He's toured with rock bands, and so he was gone immediately, and he'd come back, and I'd be driving, and he's like, that's not the right way. I'm like, you don't even live here. So when we moved to Florida, either of us would say, you know, whoever was driving, like, you're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. And inevitably, the two of us had a way in our mind of, oh, we're supposed to go this place, go this way, and I'm going this way. And it would cause a lot of frustration and arguments in the car. I'm like, you're not doing it right. You're not going the right way. No, you're not going the right way. And finally, we understood that there's more than one way to get to every single place, and neither needs to be wrong. So Lisa says, if it seems like nothing is happening, is that a message in and of itself, that it's not time yet? Absolutely. So here's the other part. If it seems like nothing is happening, what's going on behind the scenes? What's going on behind the scenes? So I spent many, many years working in theater, live theater, and that's where my husband and I met. And you could have one person on the stage that is singing and doing a monologue or doing a thing, but you might have 6 people backstage doing quick changes and set changes and getting ready for the next thing. Okay, I worked with Phantom of the Opera for a short period of time. There is always something going on backstage that people don't know about. So what is happening behind the scenes that is causing things to percolate, to line up, to get ready so that when the curtain opens, ta-da, right? So if it seems like nothing is happening, is it? Maybe it's not time yet, because what do they say, like, watch pots never boil, right? Which in my experience, if you have a tea kettle thing that makes the hot water for tea, you can watch it, it'll boil. But if you are watching, things are happening behind the scenes to get ready. So if that is a message in and of itself that's not time yet, but it doesn't mean that nothing is happening. It definitely is a message that we're not ready yet, but it doesn't mean nothing is going on. If you've ever watched the kids play at elementary or middle school, they've got the curtain closed and you can see the little things, kids bumping into the curtain, and you can hear the scuffle, scuffle, scuffle as they're getting ready. They're not ready yet. They haven't opened the curtain because they're not ready yet, but there's definitely something going on back there, right? So this is a great reminder, Lisa. That's a great reminder. All right. There's a lot going on in the universe right now, and we're coming into the new moon on 1 week from today, Labor Day. And so we will not meet next Monday for Labor Day. So take some time to feel like, what am I listening to? What am I not listening to? What am I ignoring? Where am I acting from ego in the left brain and not acting from my heart? What is it I really want to set in motion that all of my past experiences brought me to this place to prepare me for, so I can go forward in this next coming moon cycle? Okay, so one more time, if you're not on my email list, you definitely want to be on my email list. Also, I'm going to put in this website as well, because we do have some things that are going where you can get a 45-minute video only reading with me for a reduced price for $120, which is great. It's a little less than normal. So if you are interested, here is another website for you to check out. Okay, let's do some cards. Let's do some cards. Now, if you're new to visiting with us today, thank you for being here. And if you would like a card, here's how this works. We do 3, maybe sometimes 4 cards for the collective. That's for everybody to help you get through the week. And then we'll do individual cards. And if you would like a card, when we get to that point, all you need to do is put in the comments, yes, please, me, I want a card, something, that tells me that you would like to have a card, so that I know that I have permission to come into your energy. You do not have to tell me your question with the card. The cards know they are very eavesdroppy in the best possible way. And we will be able to pull a card for you. Now, if you encounter somebody who is a scammer or spammer, just know that we block them and delete them as fast as possible. And when we get to the part about pulling individual cards, please only put in your request once, because the little window where I can see, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, the comments is quite small. And if you comment more than one time, you push the comments up, and sometimes I can't see them. So I go in order. We do the order of the comments as I see them, and we don't want anybody to get skipped. Okay, so our first card, what's going on this week that we need everybody to know? And so this is card 11. This is by the book. I enjoy to work with the Wisdom of the Oracle cards from Colette Baron Reed this week. So this is by the book. It's card number 11. I know we have some that are very interested in numerology, and the 1111 is that pairing of we are walking together. But here's the thing. This card comes in upside down. It comes in upside down So by the book reminds us that there are no shortcuts. We have to do things the right way. But when we are seeing it upside down, it gives us this permission to go outside the box. The by the book upside down card gives us this permission to be a little bit of a rebel, to be a little non-traditional, to think out of the box and to do things our way. There's still not shortcuts like please don't cheat or embezzle or anything like that from anybody, but that it is okay for you to do things your way, to put your stamp on the project, because this is your life and you should be the star of your own show, right? Okay, so the second card is, well, what else do we need to know about what's going on this week to help us be very successful as we're coming into this last quarter of the moon? And this is mending. Now, this is card 52. 52 is, Tracy, hang on, we're not there yet. You didn't miss it, we're not there yet. So this is card 52. So 5 and 2 is 7. And 7 tells us we're over the hump. So if you think about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we're over the hump, but we are still not to the end. There's still work to be done. And this is mending, but this card also came in upside down. And mending when it's upside down, I'm going to show it to you, right side up. Look how sweet they are, right? And mending when it's upside down is really about not making assumptions about people, not jumping to conclusions, remembering not to assume ill intent, and just, allowing people to live their lives, to be supportive of, like, hey, you do you, that kind of a thing. But it asks us, the mending card upside down asks us, it reminds us, are we interested in being right when we're making amends with people, or mending fences, mending relationships, or are we more interested in saving the relationship, bringing peace, having peace for ourselves? So I don't give an answer to that. I can know that in certain situations, it might be more important to mend the fence or to keep the peace and to save the relationship. In other situations, it might be that it's more important to be right. So mending reminds us to pause. The mending upside down card reminds us to pause, take a breath, and say, okay, what is it about fixing this situation, this confusion is important to me? Okay, that's how we go forward with that card. So with this, first we have by the book that reminds us to be ourselves, go in our own, go in our lane. We don't have to be boxed in by the rules. It's okay to be a little bit of a rebel, but at the same time, we want to make sure if we, step on a toe, or we need to do a little, peacemaking, is it more important to be right? Is it more important to keep peace? And only the people in that situation can answer those questions. All right, so last card, what else do we need to know? And this is card 49, and it is right side up. So 49, this is the observer card. And 49 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. So, right? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Don't laugh. I count on my fingers. It is what it is. So 13, so 1 and 3 is 4. So we add the 49, we add 4 and 9 together. That gives us 13. We add the 1 and the 3 together. That gives us 4. So 4 is the stable card. 4 is the card. 4 is the card about support and knowing that we are supported by the universe. I love that this is the card where we're going to finish the group reading, is to remind us that we are supported by the universe, that the universe is here to help us. And everything that we've been talking about today was about, are we listening to the signs? Are we paying attention to what the universe is trying to tell us? Well, maybe we need to be a little bit more, I can't get it without the light on it, maybe we need to be a little bit more of the observer. We need to be a little bit more of looking at what's going on out there. We need to be having this loving determination and to make sure that we are not taking things personally, that other people are around us, that we are observing and we are seeing the situation for what it is rather than seeing the situation the way we want. So going back to the butter and the cookies, I could have seen the situation a very different way, like I stink, or I suck, or I can't believe I embarrassed myself in front of my sister, or she's not deserving of butter cookie. There's a lot of negative ways that we could see that situation, instead of saying, well, there's something to be learned here, okay? And in every situation, if we can keep those two things in mind, especially when things get complicated, assume the other person does not have ill intent. Like if they cut you off in traffic, or they, hey, what? If they cut you off in traffic, or they, whatever, if people are not acting the way you think that they should, okay, but they're acting hopefully the way it's right for them, and we wish them well. And we say, I hope you are safe and well as you go forward. If you've cut me off in traffic, I might say something in my head, in my, under my breath, but at the same time, I'm like, I hope they stay safe. I hope they get where they're going, and I hope everything is okay, that they're not driving, poorly, what I would, feel like poorly because of something wrong. I remember when I was in labor with my older son. We were still living in Los Angeles, and the doctor told us to be at the hospital at a certain time, but except for the time that she told us to be there was now 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon in Los Angeles rush hour traffic, and where we needed to go was the other side of the valley, where there was one highway, one way to get there, one road, no carpool lane, and we literally were creeping along with the traffic in this rush hour in the rain. And you look to the car next to you that you've been creeping along with all this time and having contractions going, so we might have had some less than polite words for traffic that day, but in the end to be, and I don't know what we learned from that, don't even ask me, but you learn to observe and you learn to look at the situations from a wider perspective. And I did. I looked at the situation from a wider perspective. It was like, well, I wanted a natural childbirth, so we had a lot of that in the car because it took us an hour and a half to get there, and I had a lot of that in the car before we got there, and had to deal with doctors and everybody fussing and whatever. So what are you looking at? What are you putting your attention on, right? Wayne Dyer used to say, when we change the way we look at things, the things we're looking at change. So what are we looking at? Are we looking at, or are we looking at, oh, well, I wish you well. So we look at and we assume no good, we assume no ill will, we assume no ill intent, that people are just doing the best that they can, and we give them space and we say, on your way. Because the thing is, when the person that cuts you off in traffic, if you let them go, they're out of your way, and you don't have to keep dealing with them. Whereas if you don't let them come in or whatever, then you can get into this whole, why do we need to be in someone else's drama? We don't. We say, oh, here, you, whatever, go bless. And there's a lot of power in that. There's a lot of power in that to say, you do you over there. Okay. All right. So we have the by the book upside down. Run your own race. Okay. It's okay to step out of the box. And we have the mending, right, which tells us that we can choose how we fix a situation, how we react to a situation. Are we going to be right, or are we going to have, peace for ourselves is often much more valuable than anything else. And then we have the observer card, which was right side up, that says, don't forget to keep looking and listening and paying attention to what the universe is trying to say to you, show you, see, hear, feel. These signs from the universe are real. The universe is always on our side. The universe is always on our side, and it is up to us to be able to say, hey, when I do something great, when something wonderful happens in the joy, yay me, and thank you, universe. And when we're in the junk, to be like, yeah, well, okay, universe, what are you trying to show me? We've got to give that credit on both sides. We stay in that co-creation on both sides. What can you see and learn from both sides? What can you see and learn from the joy and the junk? Okay. All right. Since nobody's listening to me, we've got a couple of card requests. We've got Tracy, we've got Belinda, we've got Fatima. We're going to do Tracy first. If you are not Tracy, Belinda, or Fatima and you would like a card request, go ahead and put that in the comments now, and we'll do Tracy. And hello, Ladybug back. So it's very good to see you too, Valencia. Thank you for being here. All right, so we've got Tracy's first. Tracy. So Tracy, your card, oh, isn't this interesting? Your card is 29, so 9 and 2 is 11, which is that twin, that supported number, and this is breathe. But Tracy, this card is upside down, this breathe card. So what are you not taking a minute to think about? What are you not, what are you letting get you amped up? What are you letting get you riled up about stuff? What are you not listening to? What are you not? So this card is, when it's upside down, the breathe card is all about calm down. Calm down. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a minute. Try and see things from that other perspective like we've been talking about. Try to ask the universe, breathe, what are you trying to get me to see? What am I missing? What are you trying to get me to see? Okay, the universe is in there going, hey, turn your head. We're trying to show you. Okay, so take a breath, Tracy. Allow things to play out. Allow that observer to come in and to be able to let the universe guide you, okay? So we're not having to, the cat typed a plus sign. So we're not having to jump through hoops, okay? So just take a step back, be the observer, right? Okay, so that's Tracy. All right, so then we have Belinda. All right, so Belinda, we've got Yang, card number 1. Card number 1. Okay, so this is the female energy. This is you are being supported. You have everything that you need. You are at the start of the journey with number 1. You have all the potential, the support, the fire within, the passion, the drive. This is the time to go forward. This is the green means go card, Belinda. So this is the time for you to go forward. This is the time to make sure that you are having everything in place, all your stuff ready for where you're going, what you're doing. Pack it up. Don't forget your toothbrush. It is time to move. It is time to go forward, Belinda. Okay? All right, we're going to jump over to Fatima on Instagram, and we're going to come back to Valencia. All right, so Fatima, this is 43. This is the deep knowing card. So 4 and 3 is 7. This is the deep knowing card, and you can see the man in the moon. You can see the wisdom of the owl. You can see this is the planet. This is the creation, right? This is source, right? This is us. This is source. This is all the potential of the universe. And then we have the moon behind it, and we have the owl, and the owl is looking forward. The owl is looking forward. The owl is not looking back. The owl is looking ahead, but you can see the owl is not looking up. The owl is not looking down. The owl is looking very clearly to the future. He's not looking like puffed up like a peacock, right? So the owl is saying, I know I've got this, right? This is the deep knowing. This is knowing that the moon is illuminating the things that are not necessarily obvious to us, and that we are being called to trust our guts with this card. This card is so much about, I am the owl, I am the wisdom, I am standing with, in co-creation, all the potential of the universe, and I know the moon has got my back, and I am ready to go forward. So lots of going forward today. So that's for Fatima. Lots of going forward. Belinda, you are so welcome. I did think that was a beautiful card. All right, so we've got Valencia, and then we've got Chris. Yes, yes, please, card, please, me. Something. Well, you are in a very good mood today, Miss Chris. That makes me very happy. All right, Valencia. So this card is also upside down. This is the 37 card. So this is the never-ending story. This is 37. This is 10. So Valencia, when you get to 10, we start over again, right? So, but the never-ending story, this is upside down. The never-ending story talks to us about, Fatima, you are so welcome, friend. So Valencia, the never-ending story is like, I mean, look how exasperated she is. She's like, I can't believe this crap is happening again. And you'll notice that she is sitting on the hourglass. This is not a table. She's sitting on the hourglass. And we say to ourselves, I can't believe this crap is happening again. What am I missing? Okay. So this is a reminder not to get stuck in the same old pattern, not to get stuck in the same old rut. Do not get stuck in someone else's story, which is what we were just talking about a minute ago. So when you have this opportunity to mend, right? We talked about the mending card. Do I want to be right? Do I want to keep the peace? So Valencia, this is a reminder not to get stuck in somebody else's drama, okay? We look at that and we say, you can cut me off. You go right ahead. Go, God bless. Let it go. Do not get caught up into somebody else's drama, okay? And as we're coming to the end of Mercury retrograde, because this is good advice for everybody, so we have the new moon next week. Mercury retrograde is going to finish up a couple days later. And then we know we have the window of Mercury retrograde for another 2 weeks. And it's going to be really important that we are not letting ourselves get caught up in the drama of people who, you know, things, and we get towards the end of Mercury retrograde, we can get a little tired. And we also have the energy, remember, is coming down from the full moon. The energy is coming down to the bottom of that rotation as we come into the new moon. And so we get a little bit tired, we can get a little bit short-tempered. So let's not let anybody else's drama get all over us, okay? All right, so we've got Chris Judd. And Chris Judd, this is the flexible card. And this is 19, so 1 and 9 is 10. So I love this card for you because I know you've just moved into your new apartment, which is so exciting. So there is a culmination there of, you know, an end of that journey that's over there. Valencia, you are so welcome. I'm under the influence of general anesthesia I got this morning. Nod, nod, nod. Okay, fair enough. But then you are very malleable and flexible in the moment right now for Chris. But there you have the 19 card, which 1 and 9 is 10, and it talks about the end of the journey. So you are at the end of a journey. We know you are also embarking on a new journey of your new home, which is very, very exciting. But the flexible card reminds us that maybe not everything is going to look exactly like we thought, and not everything is going to go as smoothly or the way that we expected, and that it's okay for us to be open-minded, and it's okay for us to say, well, what else is the universe trying to show me, right? Some of you, if you've been around for a long time with me, you know that I spent many, many, many years as a director with Mary Kay Cosmetics, and I drove a pink Cadillac for years. And the year that I qualified for the first pink Cadillac, for years we had the DeVille, like the sedan, the Cadillac. And the year I qualified for the Cadillac, there was now an SUV option. First time ever. And on my poster, on my goal poster, on my everything I looked at was the sedan. And we ended up choosing the SUV in the end because it was bigger for our family and the kids. It had the third row and all the things. And so I kept looking out my bedroom window, peering through the blinds of my bedroom window because the driveway is right outside my bedroom window. And I kept looking at the car, and my husband would say to me, what are you looking at? And he's like, it's still out there. And I'm like, it's not that I don't believe it's still out there. I do. It just doesn't look right. He's like, what do you mean it doesn't look right? Because it didn't look like what I had on my mind, on my poster. It didn't look like what I had planned. It was better. And so we get this part where we've got to get our left brain to wrap around stuff that doesn't look like what we expected it to look like and say, well, that's better. Right? So the SUV was awesome. We had that car for a long time. It was just a wonderful experience. But we allow the universe to open doors for us because it could be better. And when we get inflexible and we're like, nope, I got to stay with what's on the poster, we miss out on a lot. So this reminds us that while we are moving into new apartments or we are working towards goals, that it's the important part is the journey, and the important part is reaching the goal. And when we get to the goal, it doesn't matter if we went straight, because nobody does, or if we go wiggle, waggle, wiggle, waggle. The important part is when you get there, it will be what you aimed at or better. Because when we tell the universe, I only want what I aimed for, we really put handcuffs, we tie the arms behind the back of the universe to not be able to do more for us than we would have allowed. We miss out on a lot. So Chris, as things are, and you're doing a nod with the anesthesia, as you are moving forward with this new adventure, allow for things to be all that you've asked for or even better. Okay? Open up, and it's great advice for all of us to be open to something better. Anytime I'm working with crystals, and I've been working with my spirit quartz today, I ask them, I say, thank you so much for coming to be with me. Thank you so much for working with me. Anything, here's what I'd like for you to do for today, and anything else you've got is great. This or something more, okay? Crystals are sentient. We want to talk to them and program them and be grateful for them and allow them to work on our behalf, along with angels, guides, loved ones, masters, teachers, any of those that can do this or something more. And so the flexible card reminds us that the universe can do so much more if we will be flexible. All right, so after Chris, that was a very long explanation. I'm sorry, they really had something they wanted us to say. Lisa Reineck with a cat that types. This is very exciting. So Lisa, the cat that types, is in the here and now. So this is 32. This is a 5. It tells us you are in the middle of the journey. You are going forward. But it's interesting because we look at the journey, we go, oh, we're up to 5, we're over the hill, we're coming down again. But it's not really that. It's more that you've reached the halfway point in your journey. You're going past the halfway point. Because look at, she's sailing along in the egg. And the egg is all the potential. It has all the miracles, all the wonderful, because she's sitting there, she's watching the joy. She's watching, you can see the clouds are going by, the flag is moving, everything is going along literally swimmingly because you've got the water and stuff underneath. So everything is going along swimmingly. So Lisa, this card tells us, one, you're going in the right direction. 2, allow it to unfold. You're doing fine. She's not steering, she's not paddling, she's not like anything. She's allowing it to go, that you're going in the right direction, you're over the hump, you're over the hard part, and that you just allow things to continue to unfold. So Lisa's for you. You are going in the right direction. You are doing all the things the right. Allow the universe to help you in the rest of the way. Okay? All right. And I see my friend Bianca. Hello, Bianca. I see you. Hang on a second. We're going to get Linda, and we're going to get, where are we? Linda and Ellen. So we're going to do Linda and Ellen, then we're going to go over to Bianca. All right. So Linda, would like a card. And so this is 34, so 3 and 4 is 7. And these are the polar bears. I love this card. They're so cute, the polar bears. And they're right side up. This card is a leg up. And this reminds us that we can't do anything like that. We don't have to do it alone. This reminds us that there's help available, right? If we're willing to work in co-creation, it reminds us that it is okay for us to ask for help. It reminds us we have to learn things along the way in order to get where we're going, in order to be the humans that we can be, who are capable of receiving what we're trying to do. It reminds us that it is okay to ask for help, that help is not a sign of weakness, okay? So this leg up card is such a good, all the messages are just so wonderful for like all of us. But the leg up card reminds us that it is okay for us to ask for help. It is not a sign of weakness, and we are definitely better for it. Okay? All right, so I'm going to jump over to Instagram because I just accidentally touched my phone and it's a little bit hot, and I don't want my phone to, like, I don't know, combust, and then the Instagram folks can't get a card. So we have I need to come back for, that was Linda's card, I think, and I need to come back for Ellen. So, yes, you are so welcome, Linda. So, Ellen, we're going to come back for you. We're going to pull this card for Bianca. Bianca, this is the Fates. I love this card because, again, it reminds us that we are not alone. The Fates card is 17, so 1 and 7 is 8. 8 is the infinity symbol, which reminds us that we are always connected. We are connected to the universe, that we have this opportunity to stay in connection, again, stay in co-creation. The Fates are with us. The Fates are with us, that things are going how they are meant to go. Okay, the Fates card reminds us that things are going in the direction that they're meant to go. There's nothing you're doing right or wrong. Everything is unfolding exactly how it is supposed to be. And for you also to allow it to, where's the other card? Here and now, to stay present in the moment and be able, just keep the faith that things are unfolding how they're supposed to be. Okay, so you are in that 8 number, we are in this infinity of we're going around, we are connected, and that everything is in alignment with the universe. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. All right, so we're going to come back to Ellen. And you are welcome, Linda. You are very welcome, lots. My friend Chris, go nap, and I hope everything went well today. You have been in my prayers today. And so we're going to talk to Ellen. So lots of good juju and energy. Woo, to Miss Chris as she is recovering. And Lisa says, my cat and I thank you for the card. We needed to hear that. We are going in the right direction. It is my pleasure. I'm so glad you were able to join us. So yay for cards that make sense to us. All right, so we've got Ellen. So this card, Ellen, this is the Unfinished Symphony card. It is upside down. The Unfinished Symphony card is 10. It is, hi Noreen. So this is 10. So again, culmination, but also new beginnings, right? Because as soon as we hit 10, we hit 1, right? So we start all over again once we hit 10. So Ellen, this is the accumulation, the culmination of a journey, but we're not finished. We're just moving on to the next step. We're going on to the next one. So I like to take my kids every once in a while here in Orlando, south of the city. There is, you're welcome, there is one of these ropes courses, and it's a mega place. It is an amazing, amazing place. And you go across the rope thing, and you get to the end of that obstacle, and you go, whew, finished. Now on to the next one. And that's really what this is talking about. Okay, we're always going on to the next one because there's always going to be something more to learn, to do, to hear, to know. There's always going to be something else. Like when we get to the end and our inbox, our to-do list is empty, then it's time for us to leave the planet, right? So we're not really looking for the inbox to be empty or the to-do list to be completely done. You might look for today's to-do list to be done, but this reminds us there's still so much going on, Ellen. There's so much more for us to do, that there's so much more for us to be in harmony with the universe, to stay in harmony with the universe, to be able to stay in that place of co-creation, right? We want to be accountable. We want to make sure we're owning our part, but we were talking about before when we're like, that was me. Okay, we want to make sure we're saying thank you to the help that we've received. And when we're in the junk, we're not blaming everybody else. We're saying to the universe, okay, what did I need to learn? What part did I play? What can I shift? Okay? And so this is reminding you, Ellen, that you have completed that one obstacle and it's time to move on to the next one. We are moving forward. We're moving on to the next thing. Keep going because you are conquering. You are achieving. And to just keep going, Ellen. Okay? So lots of the right direction today. Lots of the right direction messages. A lot of reminders about co-creating with the universe today. All right. We're going to hit Noreen. And this card is Happy Happy, which is card 26. 2 and 6 is 8. So like we were talking to Bianca about an 8 that she had, that we are in the connection with the universe to remind us to be in co-creation because we are in the infinite, right? Connecting with the infinite. But this card, Happy Happy, comes in upside down. And when Happy Happy is upside down, we are reminded, Noreen, to see joy in all the things. We are reminded to see that it's okay to be silly, it's okay to have fun, it's okay to laugh. So if you came in late and you missed my ridiculous butter story, it is totally okay to laugh at me, at the situation. It is okay for us to laugh. We don't have to be so serious about things all the time. That it is really important for us, even in the hard times, to see the joy in all the things. One of the things that my husband and I have learned through the years is when things get super serious or tense and we're really trying to hammer out some, big thing, or we're having an argument or something, the first person who can make the other person laugh, and so one day, years ago, we were having some knockdown, drag out fight, and I said, well, you are just being assy. And it was just hilarious because it's a stupid made up word of, ass, but he was being assy, and he was. But it was so silly to us, we just fell out laughing, and the fight was over, and we were able to calm down. We were able to come together and work out whatever it was. But so now, we've been together 30 years, and every once in a while with somebody, don't be assy. And it's just, again, like the butter, it's become this joke for the family. And it is just, it's a thing that helps to diffuse the situation because we're looking for joy in all the things, right? So even knowing when I say don't be assy to my partner, that I'm saying it because I know it will bring joy to the situation, and him too, the reverse. So what is it that you can look for, Noreen, that says, it's my sister's name, so I say your name sounds weird in my mouth in this context, so I'm so happy for you to be here. Noreen, who is not my sister, what can you look for where you can see joy in a more challenging situation? That's what we're talking about. So it's just a reminder. So when you might just take that word with you when somebody's being assy, maybe it'll make you smile too. So, okay. All right, we're going to do one last card for everybody just to wrap it all up before we finish. And this is the Peace card. Now, it also comes in upside down. It's card 23. 2 and 3 is 5, which means we're not there yet. We are moving along. We are along the path. We are along the journey. But this is the Peace card, but we are not there yet, and it comes in upside down. And so with this, we see, and I'm going to put it to the front, we see the green pastures, we see the beautiful clouds, we see the birds flying, we see the little flags, and most important, we see the potential. We see the egg of potential, the egg of potential of the universe. It has the face of wisdom and knowledge is in the egg, that all things are still possible because we are not done yet. There's a very famous quote by Thich Nhat Hanh that I just love, and it says, because you are here, all things are possible. Because you live, I think is the exact quote, all things are possible. And so this card reminds us of that it is a number 5, but it's upside down. So we're not at peace yet, but because we live and because we are here, all things are still possible. Okay? So very excited about all of that. We will not meet next Monday. It is Labor Day, and so we wish you all well and joy and happiness in Labor Day in the United States. It is a day off for people here in the United States, and I will look forward to seeing you all the week after that, and I hope you have a fantastic week. Definitely check out my website, which is in the comments, if you'd like to be added to my email list so that you get sales and announcements and things that are going on in the newsletter. You can also see it on my Facebook page, but the super secret stuff goes to the email list. And so you can subscribe to my email list either by going to my website or you can send me a direct message. And then there's also the Sessions with Sherry website where we're offering reduced priced 45-minute video sessions as well. So I hope you have a fantastic week, a fantastic 2 weeks, and we look forward to seeing you all soon. Have a wonderful day, and always, always remember how very much you are loved. Mwah.